Have you ever felt like you are running as fast as you can, but the horizon never gets any closer? Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered if the person staring back at you still remembers why you started this journey in the first place? Welcome back to Stories with Noni. Today, I want to tell you the story of Julian. Julian was a man obsessed. He didn't just want to be successful, he wanted to be a legend. He wanted his name carved into the stone of history. He spent 15 years working 20-hour days. He missed the birthdays of his children. He forgot the sound of his mother's laughter. He lived in a cold, gray world of spreadsheets, deadlines, and the grind. He believed that happiness was a destination he would reach only after he had $100 million in the bank. He told himself, "I will rest when I win." One evening, after closing a deal that made him one of the wealthiest men in his city, Julian sat alone in his glass office. He expected to feel a surge of lightning in his veins. He expected the world to feel different. But instead, there was only silence. A heavy, suffocating silence. He looked out at the city lights and realized he didn't have a single person to call to celebrate. He had reached the top of the mountain, only to find that the mountain was made of ice, and he was freezing. As he sat there, a janitor, an old woman named Clara, entered the room. She noticed the expensive champagne sitting unopened on his desk. She looked at Julian's face and didn't see a conqueror. She saw a ghost. She said, "You look like a man who has spent his whole life buying shoes but has forgotten how to walk." Julian was offended. He said, "I have everything. I have the power, the money, and the legacy." Clara smiled sadly and pointed to a small, framed photo on his desk. It was a photo of Julian when he was 20, sitting on a cheap porch with a guitar, laughing with friends. In that photo, she said, "You had nothing, but you owned the world. Today, you own the world, but nothing owns you. You didn't build a legacy, Julian. You built a prison out of gold bars. This is the tax of ambition that no one warns you about. We are told to hustle until our eyes bleed. We are told that sleep is for the weak. But if you lose your soul in the process of gaining the world, you haven't succeeded. You have just made a very expensive mistake." Julian asked her, "Is it too late? Have I wasted my life?" Clara set her broom down and sat in the chair across from him, the chair meant for billionaires. She said, "The sun sets every night, but it never forgets to rise. You aren't starting over, you are starting with experience. The fire isn't out, it's just buried under the ash of your ego. If you are listening to this right now and you feel burnt out, hollow, or like you've lost your way, I want you to take a deep breath. You are not a machine. You are a human being. Your value is not determined by your productivity. Your value is inherent." Julian did something the city thought was insane. He stepped down. He gave away half of his fortune to build music schools for children who couldn't afford instruments. He moved back to a small house with a porch. He started practicing the guitar again. People called him a failure. They said he lost his edge. But for the first time in 20 years, Julian could sleep. For the first time, he could taste his food. For the first time, he was actually successful, because true success isn't about how much you can gather. It's about how much you can enjoy. It's about being able to sit in a room alone and be at peace with the person you are. Why do we do what we do? If you are working hard for your family, but you never see them, are you really working for them? If you are working for your health, but you are destroying your body with stress, what are you actually achieving? The secret to infinite motivation isn't more. It is purpose. When your why is bigger than your what, you don't need to be pushed. You are pulled. You are pulled by a vision that makes you better, not just richer. Look at your life today. Are you building a prison, or are you building a home? Are you chasing the wind, or are you planting seeds? Don't wait until you reach the top of the mountain to realize you climbed the wrong one. Stop. Breathe. Realign. The world doesn't need more tired millionaires. It needs more people who are alive. Truly, deeply alive. This is Stories with Noni. We believe that your story isn't defined by your bank account, but by the light in your eyes. Don't just make a living. Make a life. Keep going, but remember to look at the view along the way. Your journey is the destination.